under the hood, you have a fuse box here. There's a positive terminal here to charge if you need to boost the vehicle for whatever reason. So you hook up your booster here, and there's a negative terminal is here. This is your brake fluid, engine coolant, windshield washer fluid, power steering. Your dipstick for your engine oil is here, and there's no transmission dipstick. You have a label here, underneath the label, and right underneath the coach, and here is your barbecue connection. So you have to get an RV barbecue because it can't be regulated. And you just plug it in. There's a little handle here to open the gas. And then when you drive in, just put this little cap back in. Further along, we have 120 and 110, 120 volt power. So if you do decide you want to have an electric kettle or something outside, you can do that. The back of the coach, you have your bike rack. You just open the clamp, you drop it down. There's a couple of other little straps underneath here. To lock it when you're traveling with the bicycles. And then you just adjust the bikes. There's a little screw under here to adjust these. Put your bikes on. And then these will clamp onto the tube, the seat post or whatever. And then you're good. So, on the driver's side of the coach, we have outdoor light. This is city fill. So this is the one you'd hook up your garden hose to, and then you just use the coach like you would at home. It pressurizes all the taps and all the toilet and everything. Here, this is the water fill for the fresh tank. So with this, you just put your hose in there, fill the fresh tank, and when the tank is full, to use the water in the tank, you put the water pump on the control panel, which we'll get into later. This is the exhaust for the heating system and water heater. It gets a little warm, so be careful around it when you're using it in the cold weather. This is where you can keep your drain hose for your grey tank. There's no sewer hose. You don't have a black tank on this unit, so as such. So that's just for draining the fresh tank, the grey tank. Here is your power cord connection, and to do that, you have a little 3-point prongs, and one has a lug on it. You just line it up, and you twist it, tightening that. Make sure it's solid. You have a light comes on when there's power to it, and the power cord actually has a little illuminating LED to let you know it's live. The next one here is cable hookup. So if you're at an RV park that has free cable, you can use that. Down here, so here's your propane fill. So you have to go to a commercial propane distributor or somebody that has the commercial connection. So somebody like Superior Propane or an RV dealership. So you'd have to find out what's going to be local to you. That's your propane switch. That's all that puts the propane on for inside the unit. This is a little breather for when they fill it. So for the guys filling it to know that there's enough propane in it, because you can only fill a tank to 80%. Underneath here, if you look, you can see the exhaust for the generator. So right underneath there is the generator. Now there is a cover on there, and there's a breaker behind the cover. So when you actually go to use the generator, make sure all your appliances are turned off before you start it up. Okay, see when. Right? So at the back of the coach on the roof, you have the bathroom ceiling fan vent. Then underneath the solar panel, you have a vent for the drains and the grey tank. So above them is your solar panel, kind of obvious really. Then the air conditioning unit. Now that's your Winegard TV antenna and Wi-Fi booster, extender, range extender. So it's not a Wi-Fi unit, it's a Wi-Fi range extender. And at where the cables come in, you can see a little flashing light. That's telling you it's active. And at the front end, we have another vent with a cover on it, so you can actually drive with the roof vent open and have ventilation. Right at the front of the coach is the XM radio antenna. So to operate the awning, you use this little panel here. You have the home button, then you come down to the third one. It looks like a whatever that is. So then you just hold the button. And then you hit it again when if you wanted to stop. So it goes out quite a little bit further than we have it right now, for obvious reasons. We don't want to hit it with a forklift. And then to retract it, you just, oh actually, it does have a wind sensor in it. So if for some reason it's out and it does get a little breezy before you get the chance to bring it in, it will retract by itself. There you go. So when you come into the coach, on this cabinet, you have this big switch. Now this is your battery disconnect switch. So to use a coach, you need it to be in the on position. Now what this does, it makes sure your batteries get charged when you're driving or when you're parked and plugged into shore power. It makes sure the solar panel can charge the batteries. So it's very important to have this on. iPad, Android controlled unit. So you have a home button here. So right now it's showing a bunch of stuff. So right here it just shows you tank levels. Right now everything's empty. This one's showing a warning because that's your fresh tank. So it's just letting you know that it's very low or empty. Then you have a master lights on and lights off. And then your water pump switch for when you need to use the water in the tank. And then you have your climate. So you can use, this is just like, you could just start everything from here if you really want to. So, but if you come over to here, you have more features as well. So on this one, this is all your water related stuff. So you have another water pump switch, tank heaters. So that's just a little electric pad that heats the waste tank, the grey tank specifically, just to stop it in getting frozen in the cold weather. Now it's not going to stop it if it's really, really cold, but if it's just chilly, it will help. And then here you got your tank levels, as you can see they're empty. Next button on the control is for the awnings, which we went through. Then you have climate control. Now this basically is just your air conditioning. So to use it, you just switch it on, and then the air conditioning comes on. You can control it, you can set it to cool or cool auto is what we recommend, or if you just want to circulate the air, you can just set it to fan. You can select your speeds, high or low, and then you adjust the temperature. With those arrows. Then you just switch it off when you don't need to use it. It's nice and easy. Now there's a master light set up here, so with this you can actually pick which lights come on and off with the master switch. So it's up to you how you do it, and they are dimmable. Now there is an app available that goes with this control unit, and you can do a lot of these features from your phone if you want to. So, but anyway, that will be entirely up to you. The next one here is for tire pressure monitors, but this is redundant because this doesn't work with this unit. It's for another, they sell so many different coaches, so it's like a generic operating system. So this doesn't apply to us. The next one, the little lightning bolt, is your electrics. It's explained, shows you coach battery level, chassis battery level, propane tank. And then you have some settings here for when you want the generator to automatically kick in. Read the owner's manual. The factory settings are very good, so you probably won't need to change anything except the times, depending on where you're staying. Here, to start a generator, you hold the stop to prime it, and then you just hit start, or hold start, I should say. Now it takes a couple of seconds to start. And there you go. So with the generator, you unplug the coach from the power supply out on the wall if you're using one, and make sure the air conditioning and any appliances are off. Just because it's just a big it could be a big surge of power, and it could blow the breaker on the generator, which, as you can see where the generator is a little awkward to get that. So it's no big deal. It's just turn everything off and then start everything up, let it warm up, and then put everything back the way you would like it. So this is how you're gonna enable the automatic generator start. You swipe to turn it on, but typically we don't need to do that right now. But that's if you were away from the coach and you had the air conditioning on, well, not the air conditioning, the voltage dropped for some reason. You know, you left a few lights on and the battery power started getting low. The generator will kick in and charge everything up for you. Here you have a couple of switches here, and these are like master switches which you can set up to do the lights and that. It's up to you. I think with the app you can change them to, whatever sequence you want. But right now, so when you come in and it's a bit dark, you only got a feel for one switch instead of turning this whole screen on. You can control the awning from here. You press the arrow and it comes up A1, and then it works just like it does with the other part of the control unit. These are basically shortcuts really, and then if you scroll through, there's a bunch of other features for pairing the unit, but it does it itself because there is a computer's little box here inside the coach that this connects to. And there you go. Above your main control unit, now this is for the heating and the water heater. So it's kind of separate from the climate control. So to operate it, you push the button in, this big knob, you push it in, and now when it's flashing there, right now everything's off for the coach. So to turn the water heater on, you actually have just to turn that on. Now to change the temperature in the coach, you just turn it up to wherever you want it. It's set. Now the thermostat, this is a thermostat as well. So then for the water heater, there's this little one here. It's off right now. So you turn it to eco, hot, or ridiculously hot. The boost is very, very hot, so just be careful if you use that. And then if you're not using it, just turn it off. You push that button. So you scroll over again. Now in this little fan, it's the settings for the fans that control the heat in the coach. So right now it's set on eco. You can have it on high. The eco works very well. It's nice and quiet, so it won't disturb you when you're sleeping. So it's finicky. So right now you can adjust the language. There's a bunch of stuff. Now you need to read the owner's manual to get into the nuts and bolts. So if you want to set it to Fahrenheit or Celsius, it's up to you. The offs. So the offset is actually where the temperature change. The difference between the actual temperature and the drop in temperature before the heating kicks back in. Personally, I would just leave it where it is. The factory setting is at 0 and everything works fine. So to get out of that screen, you just hit the little arrow here. So now, this is the clock. So right now, every time you switch the battery switch off, it knocks this off. So you have to reset the clock every time you switch the battery off, unfortunately. So we'll switch this off right now. And come back down. So that was that clock. Now this one is for setting a timer. So if you've gone out for the afternoon and you know it's going to be chilly, you could preset it like you could in the house, and it'll just, the furnace will kick in and have it nice and toasty by the time you come back. I got to turn that off. I'm done now. There you go. Right. So below your control unit and stuff, right by the door, you have your fridge. Now it's a 12-volt fridge, so you haven't got to worry about propane or anything. And it's good and cold in here right now. A couple of beers in there would be great. On top of that, you have this little shelf that comes out. So it's kind of handy if you need to put something in when you're working on the cooking area. Okay, so above the fridge, you have your little cooktop here. So to operate, you turn it to the light position, hold the button, hold it, there you go. You have to hold it for a couple of seconds. Now right now, there you go. We only just switched the propane on, so it's just working its way through. And then turn the other one to the light position, hold it for a couple of seconds. There's a little sensor built in to make sure that there's a flame before it will let you take your hand off the knob, really. And just to turn them off. So obviously you have to wait a little while. This wouldn't be too hot right now, but if you've been boiling stuff, don't put that down, the lid down, until this is cooled off. Next to that is the sink and your tap. And your fake little cutting board, if you really wanted to use it, you could flip it over, use it as a cutting board. Now this is a tablet holder, it's not a TV mount. So if you have a fairly large tablet you like watch TV shows or anything on, you can attach it to that. And this little arm articulates for you to do that. At the bottom here we have a charging station, 2 USB ports. Above that you get regular outlet, but this is a GFCI, so if for some reason you find some of the outlets don't work, the reset is here. You have a cable connection here, that's to do with the cable outside, or the antenna that's on the roof if you did decide to bring a television with you. There's also an HDMI connection here, which hooks up to another HDMI connection if you wanted to bring a Blu-ray player with you. You get your microwave up here. Nice little microwave, works well. And then we have some storage here, but in this storage cabinet we have some more gadgets. So this is the antenna booster. You see this little green light. So if you push that button in, it turns the booster off. Now when you're using park cable, you have to turn this off, otherwise it scrambles the signal. This power supply here is for the microwave that's next to it. Piece next to that, this is your solar control unit. So this will just tell you when you're out in the sun what your charge rate and everything. Right now it's showing what we're getting plugged into the wall here at the shop. Then on the other side we have another USB controller, charging port, And above that, that's the inverter power on off. So when you don't want to use the inverter, save your batteries, you can turn them off, turn it off. Okay, so in the outside part of the bathroom, you actually have a connection here which hooks up to this. There's a little hose for washing stuff down. If you want to wash the floor, wash the kids, wash the dog. And it just pushes into here. And to release it, you just push the collar back and then a lot of water comes out because we just had the water pump on. Ha ha ha. That's okay. Anyway. So next to that is a water pump switch and a light switch, and this light switch is for the outside light, which is around the corner. There. Here's like a regular old school 12 volt connector, power supply if you want to put a USB charger in there. You have an outlet out here which is protected. Again, if this decides it doesn't want to work, check the breaker that's in the kitchen. Then under here, this is the grey water drain. So you just hook up your sewer hose to that, put it down the drain at the RV park, and pull that valve. Just open it like that, and it drains all the water out. You have to drive with this cap on. It's a requirement provincially and pretty much in every state. Here is a little four-way connector if you wanted to hook up a small trailer to your hitch. In this little package, this is your spare tyre essentially. There's no spare tyre on the unit, so there's a little pump in here. And there's a pump and there's sealant, and then you fill it up. So what you would do is you'd attach this to your tyre if you had a problem, turn the dial to that position, switch power on, then that will inject the sealant into the tyre. So once it's injected, the sealant in the tyre, you switch it back over the pump, hit the power again, pump it up to whatever your tyre pressure is supposed to be, and then just drive somewhere to get it repaired. It's just to help get you off the highway or get you to your destination until you get the tyre repaired. Tyre repair place are going to love you because of all the sealant in the tyre, but it's better than nothing. This is your city connection water hose. Now, this is the toilet here. So we're going to, before we look at the toilet, we'll actually look at the little cassette that you have here. So to remove this, just lift the little handle underneath. And you have some wheels on it, so if it's a little heavy, you can actually pull this handle out. And you'll be the coolest person at the en route looking for the bathroom. So all you do is turn the nozzle this way, take the cap off, and then when you go to pour it down the drain or toilet, because you can do this at home, you just hold the button, which this button here is like a breather, and you dump it out. And then to put it back in, you just slide it, you just line it up and slide it, push it in firmly, and you're good. You can lock it if you're worried about somebody stealing it, but I don't think that would be an issue. Ha ha ha. So here's your toilet. Kind of neat. There's a swivel on it if you want to find a more comfortable position, or if you want to watch what the neighbors are doing out the window. So when you're using it, you have a little button here. You push that button in, then that will put some water inside the bowl for you. And then you pull this lever on the side, then everything just drops. So you need to put a good bit of water to carry solids, obviously. then when it's full, there's this little gauge here. Now right now it's green, so it's empty, good to go. The fuller it gets, it starts changing to red, and when it's completely red, it's time to empty it. This is just an access panel to get some of the stuff that's in the wall. Nothing really worry about there. Next to it, this is a little heater vent. So it's a good idea to keep this facing downwards, because then when you do use a shower, nothing can get in there. Above the toilet, this is your hand basin. So you just turn that, run the water for a little bit. You wash your hands. But you just have to be careful when you drain it. Just, if you go too quickly, it will splash back, but it's okay because it's a big drain pan anyway. Next to the hand basin is your on-off light for your overhead light here, and a fan, which is for this little doodah here. So it just works just like a household one. You could use it for ventilation with the other fan if you wanted to. There's a secondary on-off switch here, but it's all controlled from this switch here. And then to close the vent, you just pull this handle down. It's kind of spring-loaded, and that's that. So next to that, the switches, a medicine cabinet. It's a good size one if if you've got some Advil that you need and stuff like that. Then you have your shower control and your shower here. And obviously you have your shower curtain. Now we have it knotted up at the moment. It's just, but it just goes all the way around the track. And you get your privacy, but it does also keep the water from getting in these cabinets. These cabinets, you've got some nice storage in here. You have a curtain rod. Now behind that panel, there's a water filter. Behind this panel here, there's 4 screws. And at the end of the season, you'll need to take it out when you winterize the unit. So it's not a big, it's easy to get at. So, or you can get, if you're paying somebody to do it, they would just need to know it's there. So you got some nice deep drawers. So you got good storage for a small unit. And then on this door, you have this little latch. And now, this little latch, funny enough, hooks up to the latch on this side. And this is just to stop people opening the back door on somebody who's using the bathroom or having a shower. So they thought of everything. So when you step at the bathroom, obviously we're back in the kitchen, and then there's a whole bunch of drawers here. Now some of these bits and pieces, chemicals to put in down the toilet and in the tank. Some of these are just spare parts that come, and they're sort of, you just keep them, you may need them one time. That's for the water filter, which we mentioned in the cabinet. So, great, plenty of storage. Not as deep as the other drawers, but they're here. And now we have another little cabinet, adjustable shelves. So, you are supposed to be travelling light, so you haven't got much choice. But sock drawers or whatever. Then under here, you have another one. But inside this cabinet, pause there. So, in the bottom cabinet, this is the access hatch. This is basically for a technician or somebody to get in. There's a valve for the water drain for the fresh tank, the winterizing kit hookup, and the low point drains are in there. Moving along, your smoke detector. And we have more storage here. In this cabinet, you have a power supply and you have a HDMI. So if you bought a Blu-ray player with you, you'd put the Blu-ray player here and you could watch it on the TV on the kitchen counter. Underneath the cabinet we have more power here, and that's a GFCI as well. So like I say, if you lose some power in some of your outlets, check these breakers. And you have another USB power supply. So here you have your window. So you just squeeze these two tabs together, you pull it across like that, and then there's a bug screen already on it. You can detach a bug screen if the weather is nice and you want a bit more ventilation, and you just push that back in. The blinds, you just pull it down and they go up out of the way. Then you have some more storage above the cab here. So right now we have the window coverings for the back doors and the front doors. In this big black bag is the sunshade for the windshield. We can pull that out in a bit. So here, this fan, I'm going to pause it. Yeah, this is the fan that you can see on the roof with the black cover. So to operate this fan, you go on your touch screen, right at the bottom, you have a little icon here for fans. So on, off, turn it off there. Right. So on, off for you is there. You can actually switch the bathroom fan on from here if you wanted it, if you had it open for ventilation. You just do that, and then to open the vent lid, you go up or down here. Right now we have it open. And then it's closed. So your little table here is quite manoeuvrable. Now to take it apart, there is a little lever underneath. So when you just drop that little stub, drops into that there, and then you adjust that clamp. So you can adjust it to have it a little loose or as tight as you want it. So if you don't want it to move, obviously you're going to tighten the other ones up. But just to remove it, you undo the clamp and it comes apart. So there's another one. So this actually totally disassembles. So if you're not using it, like or when you want to make the bed, there you go. So all you do with this bit, so right here you have the bracket, line it up, drop it on, and you just tighten that, so that secures it. It's simple enough. And then you just move it up. You have to put it away when you're to make the bed. Under the sofa you have this is your power control center. So all your breakers for everything, like your microwave, your main power, air conditioning, GFCI, your receptacles, and you lose one of them, same as in the house, you just switch it back on. Now here, if the fuse goes, for example, if you blow a fuse, a little red light comes on. So it helps you figure out what's wrong. Everything here, this is the list of what the fuses are for. It's nice and straightforward. So if you have any, you lose some 12-volt power, you can come and check there. And hopefully a little fuse is gone. Nice and easy. To make the bed, underneath, just by the control panel here, there's a little latch. It looks like a window latch. So you undo that, and then you slide it out. Comes right out. So and then you see some of the cushions here, they are actually shaped to fit the shape of the coach. So you drop that one in there. This one goes in here. Like that. Maybe not. I'm going to try. Pause a minute. Why one? So you place that cushion against the wall. You take this piece apart. These are a tight fit, so you have to literally you push them in like that. Oops. So now this piece, you basically do the same thing. You undo the latch underneath. You pull it out this way. Again, you can see the cushions. It's got a notch in it, so it fits in. And this one's a little bit easier to do because there's no cabinet in your way. So you can either use those to go against the wall, and that's how you make the bed. So under the step here, you've got a couple of little drawers. And the pet food bowls. So, and then on the end here, and then there's this little hatch here, and it's a little awkward to open. So you could, if you wanted to, keep some stuff in there that you didn't want anybody to know about. So, the front captain seats can rotate. So there's a little lever that's in the underneath this fabric here. So you just push that down, pull it up, and turn the seat. Just make sure that the seat is in enough of a position to move it, not too far back, not too far forward. And then when you're finished using it, rotate it back the way you moved it, so that any wires that are underneath the seat do not get twisted and stuff. So at the fill up, you just open a little hatch and do it. So just regular gas, good enough. If you want to spend more money, that's up to you. Put premium in. When you open the door, you get your handbrake. These two little levers here help to adjust the angle of the bottom of the seat and the height of the seat. So you have to sit on it and you just manipulate it to get it where you want. The hood release is here, so you pull that lever there. This is the emergency start button. So if for some reason the engine battery is dead, you just hold this button in and that will bring the two coach batteries into the circuit to boost the engine battery just so you can start it. It's kind of handy. Right. So underneath your mat here, in this is where your engine battery is stored. It's not under the hood. And then we have this little plug here. This is linked to the dash radio, if you're wondering what it is. Then we have some controls here to change features on the dash. So you get your steering wheel here. To the left of the steering wheel, of course, your indicator and your lights. Below that is another little lever, and this is for your cruise control. Other side is wipers. Obviously, you got your gauges. You have a tow haul feature. If you need, if you're carrying a lot of weight, you can just push that button, and it changes how the gearing works of the vehicle. Then moving along, you got your fan controls, your thermostat for your temperatures and air conditioning switch. You just switch that, and then where this controls the airflow wherever you'd like it to go. We have a bunch of 12 volt and USB connections for you charge your devices. This is the door lock for the sliding door and the back door. You hazard switch. This is for basically traction control. So if for some reason you want to don't need the traction control on, you can do that. And this is fog lights right here. And then down in here, there's some more connections. This is where you'd plug your phone in to connect to the dash radio. So the dash radio, you've got a bunch of features. You really need to spend some time playing with it and reading the owner's manual. You have a settings here, which you have a lot of adjustments if you want to do it. Now there's a video setup, but I think that's a redundant thing, because you just have backup camera on this, and then your Bluetooth, all the things you need to know for your Bluetooth connection. Then you hit the middle button here, and that brings up the home screen, so to speak. So you have your radio setting.
Purchase necessary. Home supply. Visit the app for more details. It's the all-in clear-out event at Nissan.
And then you have your Bluetooth connection. Pandora, if you subscribe to that. Don't even know if that's still going. Spotify, if you like that. A lot of people like that. And then AV. Now there's a lot of features you can control from this section. So if you're using an iPod to play music, or a USB stick, and of course no device connected, it's very conveniently tells you in the middle of a demonstration, and something we don't need to know. The car features, you hit that button there, and then you can change. This is you can watch these as you're driving, and then if you want to change the date and the time on the dash, you go through the. See, right now it's telling you the tire pressures. So this is different to the one that's in the control panel for the coach. And then you have some features that now are redundant. They're not options on this vehicle. So, but there's a lot to this. And then hungry. So your XM radio or whatever. So the good thing to do is read the owner's manual, which is you have to download online. Unfortunately, the Pioneer don't supply one. They're one of these green companies. And then at the bottom here you have your volume control. You should put the radio on so we can just show how that works. And obviously you have features on the steering wheel which can control the radio as well. So you got your volume and your phone disconnect and everything. So like I say, you just need to spend some time reading the owner's manual and playing with it. It's pretty easy to use once you know how to use it. When you want to pair it, you just hit Bluetooth, and then there's nothing you connect it right now. So you hit the device thing and it'll search for your phone, or you obviously have to connect it. There you go.